Hello and welcome once again to the Varlastan Circle, a D&D 5e adventure in a homebrew setting brought to you by Penance RPG, an actual play podcast and Twitch variety stream. You can find out more about Penance RPG at penancerpg.com or in the stream information below. I'm Lunrwolf, an occasional variety streamer and the creator of the Varlastan setting. I'll be guiding our cast through the trials that await them this evening. Starting with Aria.
Hello, I'm Dragon. I'm playing Aria, a Asuma ranger. Aria's still pretty confused, but it now sounds like they might have a clear path to follow. Hopefully. Hopefully we won't turn this into more chaos.
I think chaos is always on the horizon. And next up, Jack.
Hi, I'm Amy. I play Jack Herring, our happy-go-lucky rock gnome thief. Jack's kind of happy that they've kept the secret so far. So, yeah.
Keep up the good work. Silic.
Hello, I'm Eden. My character's Silic, who was not here last time, and I'm very intrigued about this talk of secrets. And yeah, I suppose we'll see.
We certainly will. And last but by no means least, Malixai.
Sorry, hi. I'm Coakley. I play Malixire, the Tiefling Divine Soul Sorcerer. And due to lighting issues, I will be not appearing in this session. But you still get to listen to my lovely chocolatey voice. Yeah, I think we've done honestly not bad over the last couple of sessions. I'm looking forward to seeing what's on the horizon.
Oh, your mic's not working.
Oh no, don't tell me that.
Not you.
Oh.
Greg.
Tech Gremlin.
Gotta love it.
Okay, while Wolf is trying to sort that, shall we get Silic up to speed?
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
So last time Aria woke up and decided to not try very hard to work out what everyone else had been up to the week
Very
before.
wise decision.
because Jack and Mal don't lie very convincingly. So she knows that this is probably something she doesn't really want to know about.
Fair. Very fair.
So yeah. Just
I
gonna accept the obvious lies.
I think that's a good understanding. If we're lying to you, it's for a reason. And then that means you probably shouldn't pry too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
You might regret it.
Exactly.
You might not.
It might upset you. It might not.
It might end up with all of you being scolded. So I'm just gonna leave it.
Would it?
I don't know.
I don't know because I don't know what you did.
Kind of just making eyes at Silic going, would it? Would it?
We'll just leave it in the, I don't know, quantum unknown space. It could be either or. Observing it would, damage things. It's not a good idea.
So while Silic was doing his extended prayer session, with the messenger, Urath. We decided to go around and see if we could find out any information about Groundhue in general. Malixire wanted to find out what was in his what his attunement ring was for. And the apothecary looked at us like we were dumb.
Yeah.
Because it has a shield on it. What do you think it's for?
You know,
There's a
for
couple of
all we
things
know,
it
it's
could
just
be.
like, yeah, could be many things.
And we
has a
tested
shield
it out.
spell, it might improve armor. There's at least two things I can think of there.
Well, we
tested
Yeah,
it
but
out.
we had.
that we'd
I was
have
just-
to test it.
Arya decided that she had to test it. Jack kind of was like watching while he sat and tried not to fall asleep.
Yeah.
What I learned is that Mal flinches a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like. Listen, I'm not a frontline person.
The ring
I'm
helped.
not. It did. I'm not designed to be taking punches and doing things like that. So, yeah.
It definitely helped.
hmm
We tried to look for the suspicious goblin that we met while he was in the stocks. He was also missing. And we went to talk to the guard to see if they'd managed to find like some horses for us, because it's going to be like a 2-week journey. And the messengers they sent to some of the surrounding towns and villages to try and get more horses, essentially, haven't been heard from.
Foreboding.
They seem to have got to the other villages and then nothing. So
Yeah,
we're
it's
probably
like-
going to go to them first and see if we can figure out what's going on.
Okay.
I think
Right,
that-
well,
And when we asked
I think
openly,
that
he
covers
couldn't
it.
see the towns.
Mhm.
That was concerning.
See what's out there, I guess.
Okay. So, what would you like to do?
I think we made travel preparations last session.
We did, yes.
Yeah. So effectively, I think we are just like, unless Silic has anything he particularly would like to do in time before we go, we're ready to boost.
That's
yeah, I
good
think
stuff.
we're ready to leave with the messenger, or at least we were waiting on him. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were waiting for both of them to get back. I
Yeah.
think we're going to Pool to find Messenger Glitha, or it's the other way around.
You've the two towns are called Pool and Roltha.
Okay.
To the nearest one, because that's where the horses were, or where they
Yes.
were last sent. Yeah.
hmm
Okay.
Yes, because this village has enough horses for us, but they would be left with 0. So,
Yeah. So we're
And
going to go and see if we can borrow a couple.
and it's not a short journey to Groundhue, so
No, it was like something like
something-
3 weeks, and they were like hard on the horses as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if there's something going wrong here, we need to get it done first.
Let's get going then.
Yep.
So I think our first proposed destination was a day or 2 travels north.
That will be Gultha.
Yep. Yeah. I was going to say, it's like being back home, back to foot slogging,
This is
eating lunch on the go, singing some songs.
That's the way it works.
Oh, he's saying the one about the Goblin King, the Goblin King, the Goblin King.
Okay. So you embark for Gultha. It's a reasonably straightforward route. Some of it is a reasonably well-trodden path. Apparently, the bit in the middle is a little bit more guess a bit, but you're pretty confident. And the conditions look pretty decent as you set out. It's good walking weather. You're getting underway nice and early in the day. You'll have a decent run at it. If you make good time, you should be in Goltha before the end of tomorrow.
Excellent.
So, describe how you're walking along as a group.
Who is Jack teaching a new song to?
I was gonna say, I will happily learn a new song.
Okay, well we're
I
up
mean,
front.
I mainly know dwarven drinking songs.
That's fine. You can teach him one of those, and they can be up front, like swapping away and doing verses.
I think Silic will go up the back. At least in insofar as thinking that well, he's got the shell. If anybody comes up running up behind, we'll be all right.
Then I shall be at the front. Is the messenger
In
from
the middle?
Ground here?
I think Jack and Mal said they were at the front.
Or we
It's
can
up to
be in the
you.
middle.
Like
Either.
the-
Either.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can be in the middle and we can keep the actual scout at the front. That might be handy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I
fine.
mean,
Yeah.
I think all they said was we will be teaching each other songs. If the messenger from Ground here is coming with us, then I'll be with them at the front.
Okay. Who is taking care of Emil?
He's wandering along in the middle with us. We'll teach him some songs as well. I'll avoid
we'll
the worst one.
We'll be amending some of the some of the words for poor Emil.
One of you might need to carry him at times. He is still quite young.
That's easy enough.
we
Take
can
out
like
that.
swing him between us every now and again, like a child, like the child.
Yeah.
Give him a little bit of fun.
That'll do. Okay. Your journey passes uneventfully for several hours. You have the opportunity to make a stop for some lunch. Nothing interesting. And the afternoon also goes without comment. Nothing at all interesting happening. It's still a pretty decent walk. You're just starting to come to the end of the more obvious path. But you know the direction you're heading in, and the ground underfoot is still pretty decent for the walking. Is there anything you would like to specifically do before you start to think about making camp for the night?
Not particularly on my end.
No. Happy enough to continue on.
I feel like there probably should be something, but there doesn't seem to be very much between like towns and villages here, so
Yeah, it's quite desolate, isn't
feel
it?
quite. Yeah, I think I'm fairly comfortable to
So
just.
we don't need to hunt or forage or anything like that at the moment. So
It's
Yeah,
also
Yeah.
quite
good.
open ground, which makes it easier as well.
Yeah, there's not very many easy places for like an ambush or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're happy to just make camp.
Cool. That's fine. So you've made pretty good progress. You reckon you should reach your destination tomorrow without any big trouble. Make camp. Absolutely fine. Who is going to take watch when?
I'll take first watch. And if the road becomes less obvious, I'll probably need to be well rested to figure it out tomorrow. So first watch then lets me sleep after.
Okay.
I have good dark vision and my extra powerful goggles, so I'm probably best to be during the middle somewhere.
So I'll take second watch. Jack can take third, which will probably be right in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And I'll
Silly
take
can
mine.
take the morning.
You get breakfast, Judy.
I'll make us a hearty meal.
Huzzah!
Okay. Job's a good one. Any requests before we run through the overnight? No. All good. Perfect. Okay.
No,
Are we...
but you're making me slightly anxious.
Excellent.
Perception check.
Your watch passes without incident. There are a number of perfectly normal nocturnal creatures milling about, but nothing that causes you any concern. There are no weird noises, except for some snoring. Everything is fine. Malixire, your watch has a number of creatures wandering around. You're not necessarily as familiar with small creatures wandering around as Aria. And you do hear some large wings overhead at some point during the night. You can't really place it, and you certainly can't see anything. There's not a lot of moon in the sky. But there certainly was something overhead. It just seemed to pass over you. But it's perhaps worth having a think about.
I got a fairly good idea as to what it is, but yeah, okay.
Okay.
I will make a note to mention to Jack as well to maybe keep a wee eye up above with those goggles. And very possibly keep your bow handy.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't like the sound of that mouth. But okay.
Yeah.
I'm a gnome. I'm supposed to be in a hole.
Hopefully it'll be nothing. But yeah. If you do hear anything, give me a shout.
I'll have my goggles like trained up now every now and again, like looking.
Okay. Jack, your watch passes without incident. Although you are very jumpy, and a number of small woodland creatures seem to have seem to almost have managed to get themselves murdered on your watch.
But I can see them through the goggles, I'm assuming.
Yes, that's the only reason you didn't shoot them, because they sounded suspicious. But, oh no, it's okay.
It's a massacre out there. I'm gonna tell Silic about the field mice massacre.
That's fine, it was only nearly a field mice massacre.
Well, I'm glad you didn't kill any harmless creatures. All right, Arya would have your guts for garters if she woke up and saw that kind of mess.
I mean, could be worse.
Well,
Mal was going on about flappy things going on, and I'm just like, okay.
But you didn't see anything up in the sky, no?
No, just saw the mice.
Well, I'll keep my eyes peeled. And, yeah, I'll try not to worry too much about skittering noises nearby. We know what that is.
Okay. Silit, your watch passes without incident. You're not even particularly troubled by the small critters, as it's the end of the night from their point of view as well.
I'll prep some breakfast then.
Okay. So with breakfast under your belts, you are all set to set off on your second day of travel. It's a little bit grey. It's not particularly unpleasant, but it could be a nicer day. Doesn't seem to be causing you any difficulty navigating. Aria has a very decent idea of where to go. So, are you going to walk in the same order, or are you going to change it up for today?
I think, unless anybody's got any ideas, I'm happy to keep it the same.
How many songs did we get through, Mal?
Well, we got through the Misty Mountains, Diggy Diggy Hole, and the one about the hedgehog. So we've still got a few more.
Awesome. So we've still got Badger
Yeah.
and mashed potato still to do.
We are all of the same age.
Everybody knows.
I couldn't resist. Once I
Everyone
said Badger, I couldn't resist it.
Okay. So in walking in the same order then. You set out for the day. It's absolutely fine going. And by mid-afternoon you can see what looks like the edge of the wall around, presumably, the town of Gultha.
Do we want to go around for a little bit?
As in outside of the town, or as in wander through town for a bit?
I don't know. Can we? With everybody approaching it, disappearing. Kind of want to look around first before going in and disappearing.
Yeah, we could do.
Yeah. Let's scout the perimeter, and I'll try and see if there's any magic.
Okay. So as you get closer to the wall, you can see that the gates are shut. The wall is unmanned. You are probably 150 feet or so away from the wall of the town at this point, which is a nice safe distance. What would you like to do?
We could scout around the perimeter, or we could create a distraction that would allow the two scouts to actually go into stealth and try and keep an eye out for things.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we're overthinking this. We don't know we don't know where it is that the problem happened.
That's true.
So
you suggest the foolhardy approach, and we just go up to the gate and knock?
well, I think we could probably start with okay, I'm going to cast Primeval Awareness to sense whether there are whether there are aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. This does not necessarily help if it's humans that are the problem,
Mm-hmm.
but it's worth a shot first.
Always worth a try.
Yeah.
My intention.
Yes. There are
Oh.
aberrations within 1 mile of you.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Mm.
Unusual.
Can you tell in what direction?
You got a compass for it.
Oh, no. Mhm.
No.
No.
You,
No.
you know that there is at least one aberration, but there could be an infinite number of aberrations, and you know only that they are within 1 mile of you.
But knowing that they're close is really quite useful. So,
Unless they're just some big gribbly bastard in the woods.
can we see any woods within the next mile? Because I thought it was all pretty open, so that might not actually be a
that's true.
concern.
Yeah.
It's all open terrain around here.
Mm.
Unless
Okay.
it reaches down, but we are overthinking it.
Okay, so we know that there's aberrations. We know that a messenger has gone missing,
Mm-hmm.
and that opener cannot see into the towns at all. So I suspect it's inside the town.
Yep, it'd be a fair bet.
Mm-hmm.
This is not going to be fun, is it?
May not be
Well-
fun for you.
It depends on your definition.
Yep.
Yeah.
What we could do is we could split into 2 groups. I have the pass without being seen, pass without trace, where I could take a few of us through largely unable to be observed. Although the fewer of us there are, the easier it is to do it. It means that we could like sneak in while everyone else goes in the main gate.
So does that mean it's me and Selic being the two-man band once again?
Doesn't really matter who it is, but
No.
yeah, I'm going to take Emil with me in the shadows and silence. Keep him safe.
I think having Jack would mean that you can then have another stealthy person if you do need to split up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And between me and Selic, we can talk and fight our way out of most situations pretty well. So
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Are we within eyeshot of the front gate?
Yes, you can see the front gate directly in front of you.
I'm not sure how easy this is going to be able to do in daylight.
it can cause a distraction. We're good at that.
I'm just
mean-
concerned that they're
On-
gonna.
Yeah, sorry. On the path ahead of us, like, is there signs of like damage? Like, is the road scorched, or any signs of people approaching, potentially having been attacked?
No, it looks, as far as you can see, exactly like you would expect the main entrance to a small town to look. The gate is clearly wide enough for a wagon with room to spare, and all of the tracks are consistent with normal foot and cart traffic out of in and out of the town.
Maybe we are just overthinking this. Should we just walk up as a group? I mean, if we get attacked, we can defend ourselves. We should be alright, I feel. Maybe.
I think we should just go up, and we can always, Jack, Emil, and I can always fade into shadows if we need to.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Do you
As-
want Jack to
Um,
go up and knock?
I was going to say, before we go up and knock, who has the best perception?
I have a +8.
I don't think I can beat that.
that sounds like Jack then. Goodness.
Does a perception check count as a wisdom check?
Oh no.
Yes. Well, perception uses wisdom, yes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
so-
wisdom.
Cool. Then, Jack, come here a second.
Okay.
I'm going to spend 2 sorcery points to twin cast. Yeah, to twin enhance ability for me and Jack. Jack is going to get Owl's wisdom, which means that he will get advantage on wisdom checks, and I am going to go for Eagle's Splendor, which is advantage on charisma checks.
Okay.
So literally keep your head on a swivel while we're doing this.
Okay.
I'm going to be my usual charming self.
Let's see how that works out for you.
Okay. I will roll a perception check.
You perceive, as you
That's-
get towards the gate, that you're prevented from continuing by an invisible wall.
So to just walk into something, into it.
Yep. Bounce off it.
I can see everything. My eyes are amazing. But
A little bit of confusion and checking to the sides suggests that it certainly is wider than the main gate. It's about 2 feet from the wall.
I'm going to pick up a stone and see if I can try and throw it over. See how high the wall actually reaches up.
Okay. You want to go ahead and give me a strength check?
Oh, I'd rather not. But
Well, it was your idea.
and I got a 20.
Excellent.
Nice.
That'll never
Um,
happen again for a strength check.
Indeed. And it's such a waste of it as well. You
right?
successfully throw a stone over the top of the wall. It arcs quite happily, several feet above the top of the wall. Appears to clear, possibly the town. Certainly, you can't see it once it starts to descend.
Okay, so it's not a dome that we're dealing with.
No.
That was a good throw.
Yeah, good arm.
No idea how I did that.
Well, shall we throw some more stones to try and figure out exactly how high it is? I mean, it'll work.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Pick up a handful of gravel and just throw it. See where it pings off.
Jack's
Not
gonna
a bad idea.
wander a few feet in one direction with a hand, just like trailing it to see if it fades out anywhere, and then walk back.
Okay. So from your gravel-based experimentation, you're able to determine that it does look like it curves in towards the wall, but it clears the wall by about a foot. And then it appears to continue to arch into the space above the town.
No coming in from above.
And how does Jack get on wandering along the wall? Is it right the way around?
It certainly is.
Have we got
I
any
mean-
means of dispelling this? Potentially, it's presumably magic.
When all you have is a hammer, all of your problems look like nails. And we have a knife named Opener.
I was going to suggest the same thing, but I was like, maybe we try conventional weapons before we try our weapon of the god, piece of the god.
I don't have anything that can dispel it. Do
Yeah,
any of you?
I don't think so.
I don't think I have.
I do not.
I'm going to turn and look at Mal, given that he is our magic specialist.
Yeah,
I'm
go
not
on, magic
I'm not
boy.
I'm not that kind of wizard. I'm better classed as artillery than I am as a magician.
I mean, well, if we knew if there was some sort of locus for powering it, then artillery would be really useful.
It would,
But
but like it would be terribly designed if that locus was outside of the force
it
field.
would.
So
It would.
Hmm.
yeah,
That
I'm
is a
assuming
problem.
that. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Openers should be able to get through that, shouldn't they?
You'd think so, or at least we'd get a reaction from it.
I think we should ask Opener before we plunge it into the field. After watching a man explode the last time we tried to use Opener to fix our problems, I'm not
I
too
mean, yeah.
keen. Yeah, on just wildly stabbing stuff with him as much.
Yeah.
I hand opener to Mal.
No.
We all, the rest of us, take a big step back.
No.
I don't want it to be covered in goo again and sand.
I was going to say it's going to be my goo you'll be covered in, I would imagine, if this goes terribly wrong.
I
But yeah,
don't remember goo. Okay, never
But-
mind. Here you go.
blood organs. Yeah, in that case, I'm going to simply ask Opener. Well, I'm going to assume that Opener cannot see through this particular dome.
Be able to
So-
now. They couldn't from a distance.
Well, then I will
Let's ask her.
Opener.
Yes.
Can you see through this force field barrier dome effect?
There is a void in front of you.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, why would you be unable to see something? I would assume it would be because it is in some way related to an opposing god.
That has been the most frequent reason.
Hmm. Oh wait, isn't there literally a god of secrets? Uh, Anyway, I'm going to imagine that you're not going to give me an answer I'm going to like here. Opener, would you be able to give an educated guess as to what would happen if I were to attempt to use you to open one of these voids?
That depends upon the cause of the void. If the void is a tear in space-time, you will be consumed by it instantly. If, however,
Cool.
the void is of the creation of the third eye, he who you have heard called Palolo, then you will merely be disintegrated.
Good.
Lovely.
I don't like either of those options.
Neither of those options are fun.
No.
Is
Opener,
there...
would you be disintegrated? Or
That
would the
is
person holding you?
unclear.
Because I could just chuck it.
Oh!
And that's our most
Please
useful
don't.
tool. We can't let go of Balioff's opener.
No, we can't. We
Yes!
can't.
Let's possibly destroy a fragment of the god that brought us here.
And could get
I'm
us home.
I'm just floating ideas, alright?
It's a stupid idea.
okay.
No.
Opener, is there any chance that... Is it definitely a void that's inside that barrier?
I can only see that there is a void.
Okay. Because I know that there are aberrations within a mile of here. I'm not entirely sure where, but probably inside the barrier.
Open. Is it a perfectly spherical void that reaches down into the ground?
Yes.
Balls.
No
We
digging.
literally have a gnome. Like, we could have dug a hole. But,
I'm out of ideas. I don't know what we can do here because
I don't know if there's
skill-wise,
anything much we can do.
No.
I mean, we can try hitting it, I guess, as a last ditch, just in frustration.
If there's a void there, what happened to the village?
well, we can see the village.
Can we?
Yeah,
We
we
just
may be able to see
negate
an
any
illusion of
walls.
a village.
We can see what should be there. We don't know if it's actually there. Hmm.
Okay. We may want to let people hide because I'm considering using thaumaturgy to make my voice as loud as possible and then shouting hello and seeing if anyone actually comes to the parapet.
It's as good an idea as any.
Okay. Into
I'm
stealth.
going
we
to
go.
quickly fashion earmuffs for Emil
It's
and
That's
run
fine.
backwards.
That's
Yeah.
a 22 to go into stealth.
Yeah, whoever wants to hide should probably hide now.
It's fairly open ground, isn't it? So
Gonna
Yeah,
Gonna-
but they've got you to hide behind, Silic, so...
true.
gonna take more cloth in my hands and cover my ears.
I am one
Yep,
with
then-
soil.
Then yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So thaumaturgy is 3 times the volume, and I'm going to shout as loud as I can. Hello? Anyone home?
There is no immediate answer.
Hmm.
I don't know. Think there's a special knock that can get us through? Go up and give it the old.
I mean, give it a swing. If it doesn't repel you
Yeah,
when you
go for
try and touch it, then yeah.
It's either that or I just once again begin artillery.
We can try knocking on the gate first.
We can't even reach the gate.
Knock on the barrier.
That's the problem.
Knock on the
Knock on
barrier.
the
Yeah, knock on the barrier.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you knocking on the barrier with?
A stick.
A spell? Yeah, no, I think definitely well, no, because Jack was running his hand along it. And Jack still has both hands, as far as I'm aware.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to rap on it with my knuckles.
Okay. It is hard and unyielding. Your knuckles are a little bit tender.
Mm.
Yeah, then I'm going to rap on it with a firebolt.
Standing way back then.
Bolt,
We're all
not
like
ball.
we're slightly edging further and further away from Mal.
Okay. How far are you going to stand away from the barrier, Mal?
10 foot,
Okay.
couple of steps back.
I'm not going to make you roll to hit a barrier that's
No.
directly in front of you. Your firebolt sort of smears. It seems to catch the barrier and spread across it instead of penetrating it. Except that it does look like there's a little bit of fire gets through, but not very much.
Ooh.
One should take quite a few steps back.
Yeah. Take more steps back, but try again. See if more fire gets through the second time.
Okay.
I imagine that more firebolts aren't necessarily going to allow more through, but a fireball. Oh no, I'm not going to use my one brand new 4th level spell slot for this.
No.
The temptation
Yeah,
is
that'd be a bit much.
overwhelming, but
I'd had overkill.
yeah. But yeah, no, I'll try a fireball.
Okay.
Bring things up a little bit.
Gonna get quite warm quite fast. I hope everybody is standing
Yep.
sufficiently far back.
Yep, we're all at least
Very much
60
so.
foot away.
Well, we all saw the result of the last time, so
Okay. Your fireball hits the barrier. And much like the firebolt, but bigger, it spreads across the edge of the barrier. You can see, it's the first time you've been really able to visibly see a big chunk of the barrier outlined. You can see this fire just hanging in the air in front of you. Some of it does appear to have gotten through. It looks like it just gets a little bit fiery on the other side. Across the entire area. And you've also scorched the hell out of the ground immediately at the base of the barrier.
Yep, that's not a surprise. Okay, so it is vulnerable. I think our best bet is for everyone to start swinging and shooting at the gate. See if we can't actually make some headway in breaking the barrier.
How about I try shooting it?
Yeah, I was just about to say we could have a look at our short bows and stuff.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think shooting it might be the safest.
Yeah.
My arrows have piercing damage.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
That might
I was
help.
going to say,
So
does Silic have a ranged option?
Not really.
Then you are on standby with healing hands.
Cool.
Yep,
okay.
I'll start throwing fire bolts. We can start shooting at it. We will target the gate or the gate area specifically.
Yeah, just concentrate fire on one point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Nothing new happened. Arrows bounce off it without
Okay.
any discernible effect. Repeated fire bolts don't produce any additional fire on the far side of it relative to the first attempt. Perhaps if you land occasionally 2 fire bolts right next to each other and they're still smouldering, you get a little bit more fire on the other side, but it's very much that it's allowing just enough air through it that sometimes that air can be on fire at the time. It's definitely not allowing anything to actually penetrate the barrier in a physical sense.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that we can actually get through that.
No.
Nah, this kind of feels like a recon where we've came and found this barrier.
Mhm.
Maybe the solution's not right now, but it's something we can come back to, maybe?
Well, this isn't the only town that's gone
Yeah.
quiet.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is we still need to figure out a way to... If this is the case, and all of the towns are under these barriers, we still need to figure out a way in.
Well, do we just move on to the next town then?
At the
Might be
moment, I
worth
think
it.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to look around the outskirts around this town just before we go off? Maybe there's something,
Yeah.
some
would
evidence of
agree.
anything else.
Check
I
temperature.
know there's like not much foliage and things around, but there could be like something on the ground maybe, or just so that we've covered our bases
Yeah.
before we head off.
Yep.
So which direction do we need to go from here?
The town of
We
Poole was
travelled-
2 days west from your previous location, so it'll be 3 and a bit days
Okay.
to the southwest from where you are now.
Okay.
And we are at the south? We're at the south of the town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we go the long way round. That should cover almost anything that if there's something to be found.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Okay. As you move around the edge, there's a couple of points where you can hear the sound of movement from the other side of the walls. And there's a moment where, as you're passing, you can definitely hear the sound of horses in a stall.
Could I do a perception check? I want to see if I can tell if these noises are real or if it's kind of a projection of the noises you would expect to hear from a town. rather than actually being
Okay.
genuine sound from the town.
That's a good shout.
17.
Okay. As far as you can tell, they sound like you would expect them to sound. There's nothing about them that makes it appear as though they are being artificially generated.
Okay.
Now, we could see if we can cause some chaos. If we have horses, I imagine they'd be relatively easily spooked. And again, I can create tremors in the ground. I can create thunder. Yeah, we could just cause a lot of noise and see if we can at least get some attention.
Get Emil to sing. Sing some songs.
I apologise for the mild cruelty to animals area, but yeah, I'm going to see if I can spook the horses.
It's worth finding out whether that will work inside the barrier.
Yep. Yeah, then I'm going to create a rumble of thunder. I'm going to clatter some pots and pans together, make the ground shake a little.
Okay. There's definitely some more animated noises coming from the horses after your little performance. It doesn't sound like there's anybody else making any significant noise, and it doesn't necessarily sound like the horses have been spooked enough to try to break free from a stable area. But that's a good thing, because that is infinitely more dangerous for the horse than anything else.
Yeah. We couldn't chuck Jack up onto it and see how far he can climb up, could we? I imagine not very. But
There's not really anything to hold on to.
Mm.
Yeah. It'd just be throwing me into the air. And then I'd probably bounce off the curve.
Yeah.
But would you see anything useful while you were bouncing, is the question.
True.
Not that I'm advocating this as a course of action. That sounds like a terrible idea.
Just want to toss the gnome, that's all you want to do.
If I give Silic Bill's strength,
Oh god!
we can get a real
boost-
good throw.
You did boost my perception as well, so you can.
Yep.
So, I mean,
No, I was gonna say if I make Silic stronger, then unfortunately that means that you would lose your thing. But then again, Silic is wearing the giant belt, so like we probably get a pretty good throw out. Yeah. I will buy you several pints.
on the Jack is like kind of fonder. This is you like you better fucking catch me.
Right.
We'll all be braced, don't worry.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure Emil is well out of the risk of possibly being landed on.
Yeah. Yeah. Jack's gonna prepare himself.
Right. Sedek's gonna wind his arm up.
Okay.
If you land on the dome, try and grab on. If you can't grab on, just go limp. That's
Lie down.
the best,
So
best advice I can give you.
I'm gonna roll a perception check, and then I'm gonna roll a what? Acrobatics, I think.
Yes, that'll do.
So
Okay.
And
And I
Silic,
have
yes,
I have advantage.
Yep,
I
we'll
have
have
advantage
a
on
strength
perception.
check from Silic as well.
Okay.
Let's do the strength check first.
Right. I got a 15.
Okay.
Perception check. And I have advantage on perception. And that
Good.
is
That'll encourage
17.
you to keep your eyes open when you smack into something.
That's a 17.
Okay.
And then an acrobatics check. That is a 15.
Okay. So that is all reasonable. We'll go with reasonable. So, Silic hurls you into the air towards the wall. You soar like a rock, and eventually you collide with the barrier.
Okay, we're on an ad.
Pause.
Okay, so go back to the discussion. Go back to the end of the discussion about throwing Jack up. Now.
Okay. So, Silic hurls Jack into the air towards the wall, and Jack sails like a rock, collides with the barrier, manages to not quite shut his eyes in pain as he smashes his face into it. Very hard to dodge a barrier when you can't see it. Beneath you, as you start to slide inexorably down the side of the barrier, you can see that there are a perfectly reasonable number of townsfolk and some guardsmen ambling around doing normal-looking townsfolk things. And you can spot that there's a stable with some very unhappy-looking horses just below you as you come sliding off the edge of what would be the wall. Somebody catch Jack.
Does anybody see me, though, on the other side?
Nobody looks up.
Okay.
Who's catching
Well,
Jack?
I mean, I think we should all be kind of looking up, trying to.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll go with an assisted check, which means that whoever is going to catch Jack on a dex roll will do so with advantage.
Okay.
I
Who's
can give
doing
it a go.
Who's got good
Okay.
decks?
Apparently Jack's going to land on Mal's head. That'll do. Go for it, Mal. Roll your dice.
I got a 7.
With
On
advantage?
Oh, with
advantage?
With the advantage.
Not with advantage. Oh, I got a 17. There we go.
Hey!
Hey.
That's so much better.
I thought you were saying you got a 7 twice.
No. 17.
Oh well. A 17 is a
Oh.
successful catch.
Hey.
Jack doesn't squash you particularly much, and also you don't damage Jack in catching him. So everyone's a winner.
Yay.
Success.
Aside from Jack's nose.
Well,
Happy
that
Jack's
wasn't your.
dignity,
That
I
was
guess.
technically Silic's fault, not your fault.
Sorry.
Nope, there's a whole. The village is normal in there.
But nobody saw me. Nobody looked up.
So there isn't any way to interact through the barrier. But the village is still there and people are fine.
Yeah. People are there. There's guards.
I don't know what happened to the messenger though.
Unless they got through the barrier before it came up.
And then the barrier went up. It's possible. Okay, let's check the rest of the barrier perimeter and we'll see if there's any other clues.
Okay. As you scout around the remaining edge of the perimeter, there's really nothing to see. You can again a couple of times hear people doing something that generates some actual noise, but you don't hear anyone speaking at any point. There's nothing interesting that you can see on your side of the barrier. And there are no additional gates as in the wall as you walk around this town.
It's very odd.
I think before we go, I am going to at least attempt an Arcana check. And see if I know anything that might, point us in the right direction. I will note that I am no good at Arcana checks, but...
I mean, that makes them better from my point of view. What do you get?
That'd be a 9.
Okay. You're vaguely aware that there are magical barrier options in various archaic spellcraft books, but you're not aware of any that would be quite so thorough.
Yeah. That's about what I was expecting.
The fact that you can't even have air pass from one side to the other.
Well, no, you can have air pass from one side to the other because the air in the other side was catching. Which means, in theory, we could smoke them out, but I feel like that's
No, we couldn't.
getting pretty close to warcrying.
No, we couldn't, because once the air that went through had finished burning, nothing else got through.
Yeah.
The barrier repairs itself.
Yeah.
I've got a horrible feeling that if we try to go back just now, we won't be able to get into town.
Oh, what? That?
So we better
The
go
bad-
to the second one.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yep.
Okay.
Or, wait. Because previously, with the harp, we needed someone that didn't have a connection to Balioth to deal with the harp. Could there be some link with that?
Don't we have a bag of tricks? The thing that produces small animals?
What are you suggesting?
So, we have a connection to Balioth, which means that we can't pass through the barrier, right? That would cover
Possibly.
that would cover all of us, including the messenger, who is part of Balioth's cult, right? But a small animal is neutral, so I'm not gonna chuck a small animal at the barrier. Well, maybe I will. But I'll gently nudge a small animal towards the barrier and see what happens.
It did sound exactly like you were proposing to chuck a small animal at the barrier.
All I've got is this image of a
that was my first
hamster
thought.
throwing a hamster at it, and I'm just like, no.
Oh, I was gonna say it's gonna be like one of those little Garfield things that sticks on your car window. No. We'll just gently encourage a small animal towards the barrier and see what happens.
It kind of depends on the transitive property of if you cast the magic,
Of connection
you're
to Balioth.
connected to Balioth.
Yeah.
It's worth a shot.
There's no other like small animals to gather nearby, is there? Like,
Just try
Hmm.
it.
yeah, I'll give it a go. Right, I'm gonna root through whoever's bag has the bag of tricks. Gonna gently unleash a chicken, and then just kind of herd it towards the barrier and see what happens.
So, your bag of tricks, which I believe is a rust bag, give me a d8 to determine what you pull out of it.
Lord. A 6.
Okay. You root around in the bag of tricks. You find a small fuzzy ball. You drag it out of the bag of tricks and
Mhm.
throw it to the floor, and take a very quick step back to avoid being stomped on by the giant boar that just appeared.
Ah!
It
Oh,
looks
careful.
at you confusedly.
Yeah, I'll give it a scratch behind the ear. Hello, beast. It's fine. I summoned it, so it probably will at least not be aggro to me.
But it's a boar.
Yeah,
Their
but-
only temperament is aggravated.
Grumpy.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know animals, so I'm happy to give it a scratch behind the ear and see what happens.
Okay. It accepts your scratch behind the ear without any obvious argument.
Hell yeah. Now, I don't think I can necessarily command the animal, but I can certainly point him towards the barrier and give him a hearty slap on the ramp or slap on the rump and see if he sprints for it.
At this point, Arya picks up Emil and backs the fuck away.
Hey, Dad, you should have done that a while ago. But yeah, that's exactly
Okay.
what I'm going to do. See if I
You're
can
going
get it
to-
to charge the barrier.
You're going to attempt to motivate a giant boar to charge an invisible object.
Yep. Why not? How hard can it be?
Okay. I don't think we're in danger of getting cancelled by the Acme Corporation, but it's getting a bit close. You slap the giant boar,
Mhm.
and it snorts derisively at you, ambles a couple of feet, eats some grass.
I'm gonna have to ride this goddamn pig.
You can make an animal handling check if you like.
Oh lord, that's an even worse idea than the Arcana check. Uh,
You summoned it, it's your problem.
Yeah, the rest of us are getting ready to pack up and leave.
I got a
Are
12.
you done playing with the boar?
Not yet.
Okay.
Give me a minute.
On a 12, you successfully mount it and don't slide off the other
Hey.
side.
Hey, there we go. Then yeah, I'm gonna see if I can encourage it to trot forwards.
How are you going to do that?
Take a hold of its mane, mohawk, whatever a boar tends to have. Gently, at least. And kind of give it a sort of giddy up, I guess. Again, I don't know animals. Like, I can
Okay.
barely ride a horse.
Give me a straight D20 check. Because this is the one time that D&D desperately needs a look skill.
I got a 6. However, is this where I need to use favored by the gods? Well, that's
I don't know,
a
is it?
saving throw or miss an attack. But
Neither of
I feel
those
like the
things.
gods would be. No, the
Nope.
gods would not shine upon this action.
Nope,
Yeah.
because the closest equivalent for this would be a skill check, which isn't covered by favoured.
Which isn't covered by that. Yeah, then it's a 6.
Okay. You grab its bristly mane. You attempt to give it something approximating a giddy up, and it looks round at you with some significant level of disdain. Because you're holding its bristle, as it looks round at you and bends its neck, you slide off the side of the boar, deposited in an untidy heap at its feet. It sniffs at you, drools a little bit on your clothes, and goes to eat some more grass.
Aria, you know animals. This thing's broken. It's not doing what I want.
You summoned a wild
Can
boar.
you not like?
What did you expect?
Can you not like? Can you not talk to animals?
I mean, I could, but this is far more entertaining. Okay.
I will also buy you several pints. If you can encourage this beast to at least try and walk through that fucking gate.
Okay. Okay. Arya sets Emil down. She tries to compose herself. Okay. I cast Speak with Animals.
Okay.
I walk to the side of the boar. And apologise to it for Mal's behaviour.
He doesn't look like he knows what he's doing.
Correct. So, would you be able to do a small, easy favour for me?
You got any good eatings?
Yes. I'll give you some if you'll do the favour.
Yeah, right.
Look and count like the distance to the barrier and go, could you take 15 steps in that direction, please?
Very easy favour. All right then. Starts lumbering towards the barrier in the direction you pointed, and he gets 13 steps and then stops and sort of bounces back and forward a couple of times, looks round at you very confusedly. The world's broken.
Yes! Yes, it is. Thank you. We thought it might just be us. Gonna.
Seems weird. All right.
So, turn round and grab some food out of the pack and give it to the boar. And look at Mal and go, can the animals go back in that pouch?
I think this is the first time we've ever used the bag of tricks. So, like...
Yeah.
Because
Who knows?
this has been a very tolerant boar. I don't massively want to leave them on their own where they're probably going to get eaten.
He's a boar, he'll survive.
But they're social animals.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I can ask him to get back in the bag. I don't think he'll listen.
Turn back to the boar and go, "Where did you come from?"
Don't know. I'm just here.
Okay. Well, the boar didn't come from somewhere else. It just, as far as it knew, it appeared here, and that's all it knows. Any suggestions?
Ask if he'd be willing to act as a mount for a meal while we go walking.
A meal and his war pig.
Yep.
Either that or tell him that he's lucky we're stocked up on bacon.
You know, there are some days I don't like you very much, Malixire.
I don't blame you. I don't like me much either. Yeah, I guess I actually don't know. What happens to the pig now? Anybody's
can you,
guess?
like, unsummon him? For a guy
guess I
with
could
magic,
try.
you're not very useful sometimes,
It's-
Mal.
I've already told you it's not that kind of magic.
I think you kind of need to have some extra lessons.
I had plenty of lessons in how to bring the bring the fire and fury of Armand to his enemies. That's kind of it.
Fairness, that was incredibly useful on the other side of the veil.
Yeah.
May I suggest we open the veil and see if there's somewhere suitable for the boar to go?
That's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
I try.
Yeah, go for it. I think you might. Well, no, I guess I have opener, but I'm going to hand it back to Aria.
That might
I'll
be
let her to do the. I'll let her to do the nice parts.
Yeah, I just let you ask the stupid questions. It's fine.
Yep,
So I
that's my job.
hold opener up and try to feel that weird way that it tried to teach me how to open the veil. See if I can manage it by myself this time. Do you want me to roll anything?
Nope, that's fine. The intent is sufficient. And as you move opener through the air, a purple edged gap opens in front of you. You can hear through it the hustle and bustle of a market town.
Oh, that would be a bad option.
Yeah.
That would be a very bad option. Okay. I'm going to close that rift.
Wait. There's a town on the other side.
Yeah, there's a town here, so of course there's one on the other side.
Could we
So
not
why don't
look
we
into
go to the
town?
other side?
Walk along.
15 steps, and then try and come inside the barrier?
I mean, if it doesn't work, I suppose we can come back in this direction and come back through.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming we're not instantly disintegrated when we try it.
That sounded like a great plan till you added that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that point,
Listen, I'm willing to roll the dice.
Before Speak with Animals runs out, I'm gonna quickly close that rift because the last thing we need is someone to randomly see someone's head floating in midair.
Yeah.
And just
Oh,
say
look,
to
there's
the
three
boar,
dickheads and a pig.
there isn't a lot of food for you here. If you travel with us for a while, we'll find somewhere that has lots of food for you to live.
Yeah, all right.
Perfect. I should be back soon. Shall I go and try this plan? Maybe that way we'll only lose one of us instead of all of us.
That's a big sacrifice to make. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
I'm not. I mean, if one of you think that you can use opener to unlock to open the veil, then you're welcome to. But I think I'm the only one that's done it so far.
the only one who can.
I
Well-
don't like the idea of splitting up.
yeah,
but
we all want to go
you are the
through,
most
or nobody, I
experienced,
think.
Yeah.
I could do is I could go through, move into where the barrier should be, and ask opener whether he can sense the other side of the veil
Mm.
from
It's worth a
the
shot.
equivalent inside the barrier.
Yeah.
Does that sound better?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then if you can't, then you can just come back, and
Yeah.
no risk of exploding.
Yeah. Yeah, the risk of exploding could take out both sides of the veil.
Yeah.
If it goes wrong. So
No pressure then.
okay, I'll be back soon, one way or another. So
Good luck.
I shall open the veil and try to. I shall open the veil, or rather, I shall cast Pass Without Trace. Open the veil and go through.
Okay.
Because just walking straight into a busy market from thin air is probably not the best idea I could have.
Yeah, that's fair.
We are wanted criminals on the other side, so.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully I managed to get through okay and close up the veil.
All fine. You step through into the edge of a busy market town.
Kind of perfect.
You are a little way inside the walls, but nobody appears to be close enough to be able to pay you any attention.
Mhm.
I shall turn and go 15 steps in the correct direction then,
Okay.
if I can. Hopefully I don't bump into a barrier here as well.
You can more or less hit 15 steps in the right direction. You've got to jink around a couple of building edges, but you make the distance fine enough, as best you can judge it. Your angles might be a little bit off, but you should be close enough by your reckoning.
Okay. Then am I like out in the open or near a wall?
With another step or so, you can be in the in a side alley next to a large building that you can't identify.
I'm stepping into the side alley,
Okay.
so that I can quietly ask opener whether they can feel the barrier through the veil.
No.
Oh. Do you think if I open the veil here, I might be able to go through into the town on the other side?
That is a likely outcome. the danger level of this decision is unclear.
I don't like that there's so many people around, but I'm not sure how else we can find out what's happening in the other town.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try it.
Okay.
This might be incredibly foolhardy, so
Not me.
You raise opener, draw it down to open the veil, and you can see through the veil, purple-edged viewpoint, as you're so used to. You can see a few people moving around. It's getting towards dusk, reasonable time for townsfolk to be heading for their homes. They largely look like they're perfectly normal townsfolk from what you've seen thus far. You can just about see in the distance one who looks distinctly unusual.
oh,
He appears to be a tall, cloaked figure with tentacles protruding from the edge of his chin.
oh. Opener, do you? That's an aberration, isn't it? Okay.
I can see only danger.
Yeah. I'm going to close the tear in the veil.
Okay.
I will head to back outside the barrier, back to the other edge of the market, and head back through.
Okay.
I'm back. I'll close up the veil again. So, we'd be able to get through. The townspeople all look perfectly normal, but there's an aberration in there.
Ah,
As
confirmed our
expected, I suppose.
suspicions.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. This could be a little bit of opening and closing the veil lots and lots of times to try and figure out where's safe to go through and work out what's going on. Which is not completely ideal, but
No.
it could work.
We've
One
got
way to
to
find
be-
out.
Yeah.
Okay. This isn't going to be fun. Right, well, it's nearly dusk, so I'm going to suggest that we all eat and maybe take a short rest, and then we'll go through once it's dark.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And we're on an advert. Or we
Okay.
should be.
We're going to take a quick 2-minute break because we've got another couple of scenes before we finish up for today. I'll just be right back on for the second for a moment. Okay. So, you break for a little bit of a meal. Fine. And then you have the opportunity to plan how you'd like to do this.
So the aberration was just wandering around.
I didn't see it moving about.
But
I
it was
just saw it
just there.
being there. But given that it was just there kind of randomly, I'm going to suspect that there's going to be more than one.
Yeah.
I really doubt one aberration could do a barrier like that.
Yep.
So,
Ooh. Okay.
yeah.
So it'll be best to send through, again, a scout, and hopefully, no, we can't even like bring the rest of us later to a specific place beyond the veil.
I think all of us go through to the other side of the veil.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark. I know we'll be coming out near the edge of the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't been seen for some time.
Mm-hmm.
We should be able to then go into some alleys and find somewhere that we can try going through the veil. Or, I don't know if we've tried this. Could I open a tear in the veil and then shoot someone through it, then close it again?
You're not aware of any reason why that couldn't work.
That could be how we start to thin out the aberrations.
Assuming that you can take them down in a single shot.
Mm-hmm.
You could cut a few windows.
Cut a window for each of us to then...
Mm-hmm.
Well, I won't
Just a
necessarily.
small enough window for us to shoot through.
Arrow slits, basically.
Yeah, basically.
The only problem is that I will then be in the way of them. But the aberration did not seem to notice me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not the worst plan we've ever had going into something.
And if we're only having a small opening, then we're a bit
Difficult
more
for them
protected.
to-
Yeah.
The only issue with that is that we would need to find a bunch of places to use opener on the other side. We can't do it out in the open, so it depends on what the architecture is like over there.
It's a normal town. There's spaces between buildings, and there was a little alley that I could get into, and I think we should be able to find places that we can be relatively discreet to try this out.
And if we do it in the middle of the night, there's less people about as well.
Would minimise the risk.
If we've got like a, I don't know if Mal, you don't have like a silence or anything.
No, I don't necessarily do quiet all that well.
No.
Really need it.
I can do darkness and I can blind people, but that's about it.
Try it. We can certainly try with the one aberration that I found. So,
Yeah,
yeah, let's go try that.
willing to give it a shot?
I shall put down some more food for the boar for while we're gone.
Okay.
What are we going to do with Emil? Is he coming with us? I mean, he has to, I guess. Unless we leave him with the boar to watch him.
I think it's up to Emil. He's seen a couple of horrors when he's been with us, so
Mhm.
he may or may not want to come with us.
We can ask him if he wants to stay and play with the boar. The boar will be nice with him.
I mean, the boar didn't try to kill Mal on sight, so
Yeah.
just
Surprising.
trying to ride.
Seems a very tolerant boar, to be honest.
Yeah.
Promise some more food. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So. Emil,
Yeah?
we need to go and deal with some bad demons. You can come with us, or you can stay here with the boar where it's likely to be much safer. Which would you prefer?
I'll stay here, but you be quick.
We'll be as quick as we
Well.
can, sweetheart.
Before we go, I'm going to cast Mage Armor on him. Lasts 8 hours, and it definitely won't be away that long. But
It's a nice added little bonus for him.
just in case, help keep him safe.
Okay, then back through the veil we go.
Oh,
The lift opener. I open a tear in the veil and peer around cautiously before stepping through.
That's fine. You're in more or less the same place you looked through the first time. There's nobody very much around. There's an odd guardsman further up where the gates are, but nobody's very interested in this little bit.
I gesture to everyone else to come through as well.
Follow through.
yep.
Sneaky, sneaky.
I shall close the veil
Mm-hmm.
and we shall go over to the side of the building where I was before.
All right.
And I'll open up the veil again and see if the aberration is still in that location.
Okay. So you can see a little bit. It's pretty dark. It doesn't look like they've bothered to light any torches or anything inside the town. There are still some townsfolk moving around, and you think you can see one or maybe even two of the tall cloaked figures a little bit further back.
Okay. Okay, so it's very dark. It might not be very easy for us to shoot through openings in the veil. But that does mean it would be easier for us to go through and hunt them from that side.
Okay then.
And we could possibly ask the villagers what the hell's going on. And
Worth a
if
shot.
they know that they're locked out from the outside world, if they're bothered by being locked away from the outside world. I assume they would be, but maybe not.
Shall we try a very stealthy slip through then?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
If they're far away enough, then yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll open the tier
Mm-hmm.
a bit more and look around and try and sneak through.
Okay. That should be fine. You should be more or less out of sight. As long as nobody's looking too hard for the purple.
And then I shall gesture for everyone to come back through again. almost feels like we're playing Simon Says.
What's
So
he gonna
I
do?
have dark vision. Jack has dark vision.
Vision.
Yeah. So
I also can give someone my goggles if they don't have it.
I think you should probably give them to Silic.
Yep, I have no
Yeah.
means of seeing.
Cynic, here you go.
Oh, thank you very much. Pop one, adjust the lenses, and then peer around.
Okay.
So can we see the aberration? If there's two of them.
Yeah, so you can see that there are a couple of the tall, cowled figures on the edge of this must be the market square. You can see behind them is a reasonably sized building, which you would probably assume is maybe the guardhouse. And then nearer to you, there are a couple of shops off to your left and right.
Okay, do we want to go round and get information first? Or do we want to start taking down aberrations?
Hmm.
It's a difficult
issue with-
choice because
The issue is going straight into a fight is we don't actually know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
We could call in more of them.
They could
I
be
mean,
a servant.
Yeah. I would vote for asking around.
Okay.
Even just checking out the guards station and like getting information there.
Or if we could eavesdrop on somebody talking, maybe
yeah.
try and get some information listening in at a window or something.
I'd rather try the eavesdropping. We don't know whether the townsfolk are aware of the aberrations. Or if they're working with them.
Yeah.
I'm just wary considering the guardhouse it was taken over by sand guards.
Yeah, this is true.
So
I think any information we can get passively to begin with is probably a good start.
okay.
So just listening in or seeing for any signs of cult worship or anything like that.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Just sneaking about, listening in.
Yeah. Okay, we shall do that. Heading further towards the middle of the town.
Okay. Sort of almost towards the aberrations you can see, but not too close towards them.
Yeah, without getting too close to them.
Maintaining a healthy distance.
Mm-hmm. There are a few townsfolk milling about. There's a couple of guards over towards the wall as well. Nobody appears to be acknowledging the existence of anybody around them. And nobody appears to be talking.
So they're not interacting with each other at all.
No, they're aware of the existence of others because they are moving in ways that will avoid collision, but
Okay.
there's no acknowledgement, there's no passing expression, anything like that.
That's quite weird.
Someone chuck a stone at one of them and make sure they're real.
I don't
Aye,
think
on
we
you
should
go.
do that.
I don't know if that's a good idea, Mal.
I get the feeling they're under some kind of hypnosis or control.
Yeah.
mindless drones, almost.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm concerned that should we attack the aberrations, then turn on.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to do then?
There are 2 aberrations that are standing there, yes?
Yep.
Do they appear to be interacting with their surroundings at all?
They are interacting with each other. You can see
Okay.
that much from them.
You said that there were some shops that were still open?
They're not open, but the buildings
They're not
are there.
open, they're there. Okay.
If we're concerned about all the townsfolk, we could try and cause some kind of distraction, which, given that they might be like hypnotized, I feel like the aberrations would probably send them to investigate. And then once they're away, we could start doing the battering.
Start a small fire somewhere.
I was
Ha,
thinking
my
more
specialty.
of going around and looking in windows and see whether anybody's interacting with each other. Like if there's any conscious interaction.
Mhm.
Because anything out of the ordinary could tip off the aberrations that there's an enemy here.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we need more information first.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
Alright.
we shall
Start poking.
Start
looking
walking?
through windows.
Yep.
Start
Yep.
poking our head. Yeah.
start being really creepy in a new town.
Okay.
Peeping Toms.
So you have a bit of walk around, keeping yourselves as concealed as you can. Any given window that you look through, either there are people going about what looks like it would be their daytime routines, or there are people sleeping.
Are any of them talking to each other?
You don't see anybody doing anything that looks like talking to each other.
It
You
feels
don't
a
see
bit
anybody
like
interacting with anybody else at all.
it feels like they're putting on a play of what aberrations think people do.
Yeah.
Like they're marionettes almost.
Yeah.
I think we should.
And
Sorry.
okay, go on.
I was thinking we should probably look for maybe a source of power for this shield, and maybe there's an epicenter of power, something that's keeping this up. Look for some indication of maybe lead within this place.
I was gonna say, I know you can detect magic, Philip.
Mhm.
You may want to give that a shot.
Let's give it a go. I will detect magic then.
Okay. Your detecting of magic, much as expected, shows that shows a little bit of magic amongst yourselves, and also a significant nexus in the building on the far side of the aberrations.
Is that building also nearer to the centre of town?
It's not very far from the centre of town. definitely.
I think I know where we need to go then. Hopefully, Pass Without Trace will also work on aberrations.
As you start to move towards the back towards the aberrations and the guardhouse, a townsperson steps out of an alleyway into you. Roll me initiative.
Hurrah, hurrah.
11.
12.
I got an 18.
I also got an 18.
We're gonna want to try and keep quiet during this.
Okay. Philip, you're first to react. You can see that the townsperson is opening their mouth.
Okay, can I try grappling them and putting a hand over their mouth and
You can do that.
kind of bring them to the ground?
Give me a strength check.
That's a 21.
Your significantly larger turtle claw clamps over their face. You bring them down to the ground in very short order. They're taken completely by surprise that you did grab them. They still seem to be attempting to shout out or otherwise make some sort of alarm. Alexei.
Sleep potion.
Oh, that's a really good idea. We do still have a bottle of Sleepy Time wine. But
Don't even need that much.
I think I'd need to go digging through a bag for that, though. So I'm gonna rip the sleeve off my shirt and try and stuff it in their mouth. As
Okay.
a quick and easy gag.
That's fine. Do you want to give me a dex check?
Do I have to?
Yes, you do.
9.
Okay. You rip the sleeve off your shirt. You wad it up between your fingers, and you very convincingly use it to punch them in the nose.
Fine, silly sand is in the way, it won't hurt that much.
The townsperson is struggling underneath you, and it looks like they are trying to reach for Silic's face, but they can't quite get there. Silic's arms are longer than theirs. Jack, what would you like to do here?
I'm gonna strike them in the groin, and hopefully that'll incapacitate them faster.
Okay. With what are you going to strike them in the groin?
Just with my fist.
Okay. One cold
Got
shot.
it. And that
They
is a
are
19.
prone. So you would normally get advantage, but you are calling your shot, you get disadvantage for that. So your 19 stands, and your 19 is absolutely a hit. Would you like to give me your base damage?
That is a 2.
That was possibly the most anticlimactic nutshot in the history of nutshots.
Check his little hands.
Small hands.
Small hands. We're not
Lucky
trying to
villager,
kill
really.
him, we're only trying to incapacitate them.
You have mildly inconvenienced them. What will you do here?
I'm going to crouch down by the person's head and tell them to keep quiet.
Okay.
How
They
do
give
we
absolutely no indication of having heard or thought about what you've said at all.
Okay. Are they still fighting?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Is the alley that they came out of, is it in full view of the aberrations? Or would they only be able to see the entrance to it?
You are currently out of sight of the aberrations.
Okay.
We could just bundle them through the other side for now.
Ah, but then we have to find him again later.
Do we?
Or we could just tie him up for now?
Yeah, that's the other
Yeah.
one.
So, since they're being fairly comprehensively restrained by my companions,
Mm-hmm.
I shall start to tie up their hands.
Okay, you give me a strength check. Didn't hear you there, Aria.
6.
Okay. You are trying to wrestle their hands into a position where you can actually bind them, but they
We're
are.
on an ad break. Sorry,
That's all
I
right.
didn't know we were going into an ad break.
Okay. We'll continue.
We suck in non-lethal takedowns.
You really do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I
So
figured I would do the tying up rather than anyone else.
yep. But yeah, they're struggling too much for you to get a good secure grip on their hands. Which brings us back to Silic.
This is really difficult to... Okay, we're back.
Okay.
So
So Silic, what will you do?
trying to think what's really possible here, because we need to keep his mouth covered, really. He's clearly going to shout out. So yeah, I'm going to stay pressing my hand on his face. I've only got one free hand on that basis. What can I really do? I'll just continue to restrain him, I suppose. Can I grab one of his arms, like try and really force him down on the ground and stop his flailing a little bit?
You can attempt to do that. Give me a strength check.
That would be a 18. Oh, I'm getting lucky tonight.
His flailing is just slightly too excessive for you to wrangle his hand with any great success at the moment. Malixire.
Yeah, I'm going to attempt to gag him again.
Okay, give me your dex check.
11?
You are able to just about force the fabric under Silic's hand and into the townsperson's mouth. And you manage to do it without getting bitten.
Hey!
Hey!
The townsperson does not manage to wrestle free of you, but they're not resisting any less for having been further muffled.
Yeah, well, keep him quiet.
Jack,
I'm gonna try and help restrain them some more. That's a 16 to try and help Arya with his legs.
okay. That's certainly useful. I mean, give me a roll to get the binding done.
Strength.
Friend.
8.
Despite Jack's best efforts to hold the person still, you get a loop of rope, and then you get another loop of rope, and then the townsperson kicks slightly, and it turns out you tied the rope to itself.
Yay!
He's like a salmon. Wriggling.
All the wriggling. Brings us back up to Silic.
Okay, right. Gonna attempt to help restrain now. Sitting my weight on top of his chest as best I can.
Okay.
Gonna try and yeah.
The turtle's trying to sit on him.
Pretty much.
Alrighty. Give me a strength check then.
Oh, crit 20.
Way!
Hey!
Okay. And exactly what were you trying to restrain? An arm or leg or?
Let's stop the general wiggling. Let's try and sitting on top of him. I'm gonna try and grab both of his arms and kind of like pull him into his side and just hold him down.
Okay. That is unexpectedly extremely successful. Because he goes massively limp under you. So you have successfully restrained both arms into his sides. Alexia. There is a limp townsperson under Silic. What would you like to do?
Would I be able to stun him with a cold shot to the head? Because I might just kick him in the head.
You can certainly try.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
Okay. Give me a strength check for your kick to the head.
14.
Okay. And roll me your base damage, which will be your strength modifier plus your proficiency bonus.
2.
Okay. And give me a straight d20 roll.
18.
Okay. So, the limp townsperson is even more limp. And as you sort of pause to assess the situation, it becomes clear that they're not breathing. You're unsure whether they're not breathing because they inhaled the cloth that Malachthar forced into their mouth, or whether it's because he has done them a severe disservice with a pointed toe to the temple, or whether it was Silic wrenching their arms in such a way as to dislocate both shoulders simultaneously. But something has gone quite badly wrong here.
Arya
Can I have-
glares at the pair of them.
Can I hit him with a Spare the Dying?
I wasn't intending to dislocate his shoulders. just wanted to bring his hands down to his sides.
Oh my god. Jack's just staring at this now corpse.
As you stare at the corpse, it twitches, and immediately next to it appears this weird purple thing that looks like a brain with feet.
Kill it.
Stab.
Yeah, are we still in the initiative order?
You certainly are, and it goes first. It's going to attempt to claw the nearest target, which is Malexire. Claws miss. But perhaps it will have more success with eating your brain, Malexire. Give me a
It's not
An
much.
intel-
There's not much there.
give me an intelligence saving throw.
Oh, I get +1 to my saving throws thanks to my fancy shield ring. Let's see if that counts for anything. So I rolled a 17.
You're in
and
my
I-
aura of protection as well, so you get a +2 modifier.
So that's 19. Yeah.
Yep.
That is a dirty 20.
That's fine. You're able to shrug off its psychic attack.
That's
Billy.
useful.
Okay, right. I'm getting my war pick of smiting. And it's time to start swinging.
Yep.
So, to hit. That was 19 on the die, so that's a +7.
Absolutely hit.
26.
Mm-hmm.
And then 1d8. Let me find my die. 7 plus 4. So that's 11. On the first
Okay.
hit.
Yep. Your pick strikes true, and it splatters what you would definitely suggest was brain matter, but it's not. It doesn't really look like it might be a brain. All over the place. You have a second attack there.
Yep. Let's do that. Oh, not so good this time. It's 5 plus 7, so 12.
That's a hit.
Ooh. I think I'm gonna smite on one. 2d8 radiant. So I'll roll for the initial hit. So 6 plus 4, 10 for the initial damage, and then an 8 and a...
Okay. With a crack of lightning, your pick strikes down into it and impales it into the dirt, where it wriggles a couple of times and then falls still. From the center of the town, you hear a gong. And that is where we will leave it for this evening.
Oh. Take off the war pick while looking off in the distance, like, oh no.
Into stealth.
See, I don't know what drew all the attention. It might have been the scuffling. It might have been the crack of lightning. It might have been the shriek that Malexire let out when he saw that horrible little brain creature. It's
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's because one of them died.
Yeah.
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 Hive brain.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't actually stop for a short rest, so lots of spell slots are expended.
Well, we'll see how we go. Looks like we're dealing with mind flayers.
We've got at least 2 fireballs left. We're gonna do good.
This is going to be messy.
Oh.
It's going to be interesting. We'll
Could
see
be
just how
painful.
interesting next time.
Interesting. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes, that's the description.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Be here again in 2 weeks. All being well, he says, quickly checking his calendar as the person who is absolutely vital. Yep. Yes, we should be here again in 2 weeks.
Okay, if you want to see more from members of our cast before then, our GM Lunrwolf will be occasionally streaming, in theory, as shall Eden. Not going to say that there's a schedule for either of them.
Most Saturdays for me, but sometimes
If you
not.
follow them, they shall appear. Want to say thank you to all of our players, and also to our sponsors, which is D&Dice UK. If you use the code Penance RPG at checkout, you will get 10% off, and there is free shipping within the UK, and I think it's pretty reasonable to Europe. We do also have a sponsorship for 20% with Gemhammer and Sons Gaming. Same deal with the code. That's the website there. It always cuts off the end of the referral link. If you just go to the Gemhammer shop, you can enter it there. And that's most of our outgoing stuff that we actually really need. Some of the Varlastan stuff is on World Anvil, which I do not currently have a link for. And I shall find us someone to raid out to. So if anyone has anything else they wish to say, this is your chance.
Nope.
I was going to go out to Vic, but apparently it's not coming up as an option. Pete will be on at 11, maybe just after 11 this evening to play some more, I think, random horror games.
Good time.
Okay, if this is meant to be a different person that goes with part of their name being the same, then I am completely confused.
Tricky business. Nikolai's got a raid suggestion.
Crimson Albedo. Ah, okay. Today, let's find you in the... Yes. We shall raid out to Crimson, and Nikolai shall be back on at some point soon. So until next time, bye!
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
See you all soon.